2 deputies that were shot and 1 Locust Grove officer that was shot.
Scared to death. Being shot is a whole different thing.
The Locust Grove police officer died shortly afterwards at the hospital. 1 sheriff's deputy is in serious condition and in surgery.
All 3 of them need prayer, and all we could do was lift them up and let God take care of them.
The officers were serving a warrant at a home when they were shot. Within the last 90 minutes, we have confirmed that Locust Grove officer Chase Maddox was killed, a 5-year veteran of the department. 2 Henry County deputies were also injured, one of them in the hospital still, the other has just been released. As for the suspect, he was shot and killed by police.
This all happened in a quiet cul-de-sac on St. Francis Court in Locust Grove, just a few miles away from Tanger Outlets. Right now, crime scene tape is still up, blocking off the area. The overwhelming response on our Facebook page, utter heartbreak over the lives lost today.
Tonight, we have team coverage with a reaction from the deputies' families, co-workers, and from the community. We begin our coverage with Caitlin Ross. She is live near the scene as she walks us through exactly what transpired.
Jeff, this is still a very active crime scene. Dozens of police officers still here trying to investigate exactly what happened. Just moments ago, officers were actually walking children home from school through this crime scene tape because so much of this neighborhood is still blocked off. Police say that 2 Henry County deputies were trying to serve a warrant at one of the homes about halfway down the block. When they started talking to the suspect, they immediately realized this is going to be trouble. That's when they asked for a Locust Grove police officer to offer them backup. As soon as that officer got to the scene, that's when the confrontation started. From what we understand, those officers got into a gunfight with the suspect shooting the officers through the door. All 3 officers were hit. The 1 Locust Grove officer was killed. He died on scene. The other 2 deputies from Henry County were both shot in the chest and stomach. One of them shot in the chest. The bullet hit his bulletproof vest. The other bullet went under the bulletproof vest, striking the other deputy in the stomach. Those 2 officers were rushed to the hospital, and this was really unexpected. It was a relatively low-stakes warrant they were trying to serve here in Locust Grove.
The arrest warrant was out of the city court out of Locust Grove. I don't know the exact charge, but I think a failure to appear was the reason that the deputies were there. It had been sent to the sheriff's office to serve the arrest warrant.
And police say they are talking to the family of that suspect tonight. They know who he is, but so far they have not identified him publicly.
Caitlin Ross reporting for us. Now, the 2 injured deputies from Henry County were taken to Atlanta Medical Center. We have now learned that 1 already is out of the hospital tonight. Faith Abube joins us live after talking to that deputy's brother. Faith?
Yeah, Jeff, you can still see law enforcement presence here right over my shoulder here at Atlanta Medical Center. 1 deputy is still in serious condition here, but we just learned in the last hour and a half or so that Deputy Michael Corley was released by doctors after being checked out. His family members tell me that they weren't even able to ride home with him. Instead, he left here with investigators to head back to Henry County, where investigators are trying to determine exactly what happened when this happened earlier today. We're told Deputy Corley had his bulletproof vest on when he was shot, and it saved his life. Here's the brother of that deputy, Wade Corley, telling us about the moment he found out his brother had been shot.
I was trying to get in touch with him at my father's house. I had both his boys with me today, so when I got the call, it was bad. Got him here as quick as I could because he wanted to see his boys, and his boys wanted to see him, to make sure he's all right. There's nothing like hearing about something and then not getting up here to put your hands on him. And so there again, Clayton County got us here, escorted us here, and I can't tell them how much I appreciate that.
Well, here's what we know so far about that deputy, according to his brother, who you just heard from. The deputy is 49 years old. He's been with the Henry County Sheriff's Office for about 25 years, and he's a very loving and outgoing person, according to his brother. Tonight, the family tells me that they expect him to be okay, but they're still asking people out there to pray for their family, as well as the families of all the deputies and the officer involved in today's deadly shooting, Jeff.
All right, Faith, thank you. as you can imagine, this tragedy is also hitting city leaders very hard tonight. 11 Alive's Doug Richards continues our live team coverage in Locust Grove after talking to the mayor and city council members, all who knew the fallen officer.
Well, Jeff, the Locust Grove Police Department is a very small department. They cover shifts every day of the week, 24/7, and only a handful of officers doing it. This is one of their patrol cars, and Chase Maddox drove a patrol car like this. He was a highly visible and very well-liked member of this department.
You can see he gave his life, but he was a good father. He had good, his mom and dad, I mean, his dad and him, family, they are just good.
Mayor Robert Price says Officer Chase Maddox grew up in the Locust Grove community. His job with the city's police department was Maddox's first in law enforcement. Maddox was shot to death helping county deputies serve a warrant in a subdivision south of downtown.
But we never thought it would come to this, really. But
What was he like?
I don't know what's
Just young, energetic, exciting, and loved his job. Fine young officer, and always smiling, always happy to speak to you. You know, if he saw you in the road, he'd wave at you.
The police department lowered its flags to half staff after the killing. In a small town with only about 24 officers, the questions may never get fully answered.
We hate this so much. We hate it. Why? We'll never know why. But we know there's a healer there that'll heal us all, and he will, and he'll get us through this.
This is obviously a very difficult day here in the city of Locust Grove, here in Henry County. Mayor Price says that he is grateful that neighboring police departments, particularly the cities of Hampton and McDonough, sent police officers into Locust Grove to help cover the city while this police department was dealing with this not only police incident, but also personal tragedy. Back to you.
Doug, thank you. Now, while we hear about officer-involved shootings a lot in Metro Atlanta, it's usually the suspect, not the officers, who were injured. In fact, the last time we reported on a Georgia officer's death was back in September when Polk County officer Kristen Hearn was killed while investigating a suspicious car in Cedartown. The mom had spent almost a decade serving in law enforcement. According to the GBI's online crime statistics, 7 officers were killed in the line of duty in Georgia in 2016. 1 in 2015 and 2 in 2014. You can head over to our website, 11alive.com, right now as we continue to update this breaking news. We've also posted the full video from the news conference with the GBI and pictures from the scene. Just click on this story on the homepage.